Good evening, my fellow Uniteds. It's a good evening, a hot evening, but a good evening. I am rushing to get here from work. I had errands on the road, so I'm here with you tonight. And tonight is going to be another one of those engaging nights, one of those exciting nights where us Uniteds get to share ideas, to look at the situation in Jamaica, in our country, in our beloved land we love, and what the UIC would do about it or do differently. Tonight is a bit of a discussion on the legal standings in our country, the legal standing of our Prime Minister, and our legal standing of one of the most important, one, and I certainly think so, one of the most important commissions of Parliament. So tonight we're going to look at the very controversial matter of the Integrity Commission, and I'm hoping I can get some assistance from Naika in studio, or to get her to engage my library for me. Because before we get into the meat of the matter, there are some documents that has to be shared with you so you can understand what the UIC has been doing. Now, this matter, when it unfolded, we were surprised, like everybody else, that a breach of such magnitude, warranting such a strong reaction, existed. But we weren't surprised that there was a breach. Because after all, this government system is as porous as my grandmother's sieve. There are so many ways that our politicians can collude to enrich themselves personally instead of doing the work that you elected them to do, instead of them serving the purpose that you want them to serve. They're able to get into the House of Representatives and create a family dynasty of perpetual enrichment based on the colonial system that they have inherited, that they have taken on from the colonial masters. Now, let me ask this simple question. How many families, how many kins, whether related by blood or marriage, can you count in our House of Representatives? And out of a country of 2.9 million with such a high level of education, with a literacy rate which is in the 80s, it used to be in the 90s. Last figures I saw was in the high 80s. With a literacy rate in the 80s, I'm sure we can find other people other than family members to be in the House of Representatives. So why is it, do you think, that the House of Representatives is filled with so much dynastically aligned persons, whether they are affiliated by marriage or they're affiliated by blood? Simple. It's a means of controlling the masses and enriching the family, creating generational wealth on the back of your tax dollar. Think about it. Think about it. Call the names. The who's of politics are all related there. So I'll leave you with that homework to figure out those persons. Okay? But as I said, tonight we're gonna look at the Integrity Commission. Now let me give you a bit of history on that commission. The Integrity Commission is one of the commissions of Parliament, and that just means one of the bodies that Parliament puts together, and it's for a specific purpose. This Integrity Commission was put together to make sure that politicians are held accountable and act in accordance with the law. So the Integrity Commission was there to make sure that politicians are honest, to keep them honest. And if they are not honest, they're vested in the power to penalize. Now, have we seen that report? I was just looking for the report to share with you, but it's available on the various government websites if you want to see the document. And when you do, I want you to find the Director of Corruption Prosecution's report, and go to the very last page. And That last page is a very interesting page. It is where that finding is that everybody claims that it exonerates the prime minister. Now, let's give you some background as to what is going on. News broke that the prime minister is going to be referred for prosecution for allegedly influencing contractual awards during his tenure as Minister of Education. And it's estimated that this happened some 30 years ago. 13 years ago. So the question we need to ask, are sins of 100 years still sins? Are crimes of 30 years still crime? We'll need to figure that out. But in the eyes of the law, as it pertains to this matter, there is no statute of limitation. And that's just fancy legal talk, for the law does not hold you accountable for what is happening after a certain period of time. So we know that there's no statute of limitation. But when that commission of parliament, when the integrity commission referred the matter of the prime minister to its prosecutorial arm, the ruling came back that, it's going to be difficult to prosecute the prime minister for something he did so long ago. So let's just forget about it. I'm paraphrasing. And they created the system, so they know how to get the system to work in their favor. If it was you and I know we would be behind slammers right now. But let's continue. Now, here is the problem. The ruling from the Director of Corruption Prosecution came after the report that went out that said the Prime Minister will be referred for prosecution. Now, everybody is upset and said that the Prime Minister was defamed. They did this maliciously to ruin or hurt the Prime Minister's reputation. And when we take a look, when the UIC took a look at the ruling from the Director of Corruption Prosecution, there's a line in there that says, even though there is evidence, listen again, even though there's evidence to support the charge, it will be difficult to overcome an argument of process abuse. And what is that? That again is legal speak for, even though we see evidence that suggests that something is wrong, if we do this, his lawyers will argue that it's abuse of due process, as in abuse of his rights to move on from this thing because we're digging it up after so many years. And so the matter will be thrown out. So we are not going to prosecute. It didn't say there's no evidence, so we're dismissing the case. It says that we see evidence, but we are not going to prosecute. How does that sound to you? But I hear Delroy Chuck in the House of Representatives during the sitting of the Joint Select Committee reviewing the law on the Integrity Commission. Right? Yes, reviewing the law, because all of a sudden now that the leader of the country is offended, there is a need to review the law. And I'll be honest and say that the law was due for review, but the force at which persons are coming at the commission would suggest that they don't want anyone to hold them accountable or anyone to have any sort of oversight to look at what they're doing and call them out on it when it's wrong. So they're trying everything to destroy the commission. Now, We all know that. I am not surprised by that. And you uniters out there aren't surprised either. If you are, then you really haven't recognized the kind of governance system that we have. And I will go back and tell you that we adopted wholesale the same system that enslaved our foreparents and their parents before them and their parents before them for over 400 years. And that system was designed solely, sorry, for exploitation, to take what is yours. And it is the same thing that has been happening for the past almost 80 years. That is 80 years coming up shortly. Now, when you look and see career politicians like our prime minister who have developed massive amount of wealth, then you would know what is going on. But here's one very, very cheeky thing that most persons don't recognize. The brouhaha, the up and down, the oh my god, the I am surprised that you are hearing, we didn't know that you are hearing, is fake. Fake. Yes, I said it. Do you know why it's fake? Not because people knew that he did something. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that he did something wrong or is alleged to have done something wrong. But there was a journalist, and one of the only true journalists that practices today in Jamaica, that asked that question of the Prime Minister at an event publicly and loudly. Is it true that you and your wife will be referred for prosecution by the Integrity Commission? And they ignored that question. Well, the Prime Minister ignored that question with a smile. I don't remember the exact date, but it was probably some 4 or 5 months ago. And I'm having a call here. Let me take this. You're on with Winston. Good night.
You're on live?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, no problem. I think you're in the wrong number.
Nobody is seeing my live. I have 5 people here watching.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's happening, but okay.
All right, my people. My stride is broken, but I'm listening to my technical person here, and I'm not sure you can. I think you can hear her. She's saying I'm in the wrong studio. So the question is, do I continue in the studio? I see my number there. It says calling live. So I'm not sure. My thumbnail was here. You sure I'm in the wrong studio, Naika?
Yeah, keep reloading, but you're not in this one.
Yeah, I just signed in. All right, my folks. I'm gonna ask you to be with me. I'm gonna sign out and sign into the studio again and see if that helps. Stay with me. After a short break, I'll be right back.